The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Yeah, boy!
Oh, yeah, cats and kittens, welcome back to The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is the Dick Clark to my Ryan Seacrest, Kristen, Joy, Hoadley. Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Bryan.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. And Happy New Year's Eve to you.
New Year's Eve. The countdown is ticking.
The countdown will be ticking. Stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, we will do a countdown for you. So if you want to, like Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz, you can sync up your countdown with our countdown, and everything will be wonderful in the world. Who are you going to watch on New Year's Eve, Krissy?
I usually watch Andy.
You watch Andy. You go Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I choose Miley Cyrus. That's just me.
I switch back and forth.
Yeah, I like Miley.
Bit.
I think Miley's got a thing going that I'm into.
Is she again this year?
Don't know, but I imagine.
Right. Okay.
I think it went so disastrously wrong the first year with Pete Davidson that how could you look away?
Yeah.
And then I think they did it last year, didn't they?
I think so.
I think they did it last year.
Dolly was involved, maybe too.
Dolly Parton was involved. I think Pete took a break for rehab and a show in Conyers, Georgia.
Right.
And then, I like Ryan and I like Andy. I like both of them. I think they're good. But since they stopped drinking, it's
Andy
not
still
as
drinks.
interested. Is it? I thought that they weren't allowed to drink. I thought they told them no more drinking.
Well, they got a little crazy with it.
They're allowed again, though. They're allowed
again?
I think
Okay.
people demanded it.
Well, fine. Finally, CNN coming to their senses. Doing something to improve the ratings over there at CNN. What a fucking train wreck that channel has become, honestly.
I haven't even watched.
I mean, Anderson Cooper's the only reason to watch, if we're being real about it. Anderson Cooper, I think, is the only interesting one that's still over there. But anyway, and of course, Ryan Seacrest and Dick Clark Productions is the sentimental favorite because that's what I've been watching since I was a child. My grandmother, we would always spend New Year's Eve with my grandma Green on my dad's side, my dad's mom. And while I think my dad would argue that he wasn't her biggest fan, I always enjoyed being around my grandma Green because she always made it a big deal to be at her house.
Yeah.
And I've told you this, she had this house in Melrose Park, Illinois, in Chicago. And in this house, it had a basement, like a lot of houses in Chicago do. And in this basement was a bar. And we're not talking about a bar like most people have a bar. They've got a little nook with a couple of bottles and glasses on it. We are talking a full Cheers bar downstairs in the basement with cocktail tables and a TV and things hanging on the wall and a little fireplace. You could literally belly up to this bar. And there could be a bartender back there serving you drinks.
I love that.
And they had all kinds of booze and beers and everything. So when my grandfather was alive, apparently this was the place to go for Smokey Bones and, Guns Magoo and Fishneck Rogers, all these gangsters that used to live in Melrose Park, all these Italian guys used to come over and drink at my grandfather's bar. My grandfather, of course, was Irish. At the Speakeasy, that's right. At the Speakeasy, even though it was legal to drink. But, still, they had their neighborhood little bar and they would come down there and they would have parties. So when my grandfather passed away when I was very young, my grandma took it upon herself to take us for New Year's Eve so that my parents could go out and we would go to Party City, the party place down the street. My grandma would let us spend some loot. We get the poppers and the streamers and the Happy New Year banner and all that stuff. And we would spend the afternoon setting up the basement, the bar. And then at night, my grandma would allow us to stay up and watch on the little tiny little shit TV she had down there. We would watch Dick Clark as he rolled in the New Year's with that ball drop in New York. So for me, that's a very much a sentimental favorite because I just remember as a kid having so much fun with my grandma Green and doing that. They also had a live grenade down there from World War II.
Said that before.
Which was crazy, crazy. I had to check myself with my brother one time. I'm like, that thing was live, right? He's like, pin in live grenades sitting downstairs.
Pin in.
Yeah, but I think that was pretty common that guys came back from the war and they took souvenirs, like their guns, their medals, a grenade, you know. I don't know why my grandpa kept it, but my grandma kept it too. It was sitting down there in the basement. My grandma also, one year, she bought Weird Al Yankovic. You ever heard the song, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
Of course,
okay, it's a very famous song. Can't remember the name of the artist, but he had a whole comedy album. Elmo something, I think his name was Elmo something. He had a very famous comedy album, and Weird Al Yankovic, of course, had in the 80s and the 90s was doing a lot of comedy albums too. So my grandma bought us these 2 albums. And I just remember one New Year's Eve, Kevin and I burning the shit out of those cassette tapes, just listening to them over and over and over again. Weird Al and Elmo, back and forth till midnight, trying our best to stay up for the ball drop. And I think we accomplished it. I have such fond memories of being down in that bar for
It sounds like a really good time, especially for a kid. I mean, how old were you up until like this was the tradition?
I would say 7 through moving here to Atlanta. So remembering, right? Of course, I was probably there much younger, but I would say she started to do this party tradition 7 through 13, 7 through 12, 7 through 13, good 5 or 6 years. And then when we moved here to Atlanta, there were a few odd years where we would be up there for whatever reason. And she would do it, and she would always make it a big deal. Kevin and I would play down in that bar. They had a match collection, matchbook collection.
Yeah, like the little boxes.
Yes, because that was what you did back then. If you had a restaurant, it was like a business card. Instead of a business card, you'd have a matchbook, right? True. And so they had thousands of these matchbooks. So Kevin and I used to go down there and be little pyros and, burn the matches and set the matchbooks on fire.
And play on loop. Grandma got run over by a reindeer?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer coming home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. So now I have passed on that tradition. Both of my grandparents were into, is it Elmo? Is that his name?
It's Elmo and Patsy.
Elmo and Patsy. He was like a comedy artist. That's what we did. Before Weird Al Yankovic, there was Elmo and Patsy, and I'm sure there was lots of others too. But both of my grandparents were into Elmo and Patsy. That was like their sense of humor was very much like dad jokes. And if you listen to an Elmo and Patsy album, it's very dad jokey. Like Grandma got run over by a reindeer. There's a line in the song that goes, "Now we're all so proud of Grandpa. He's been taking it so well. Watching football and drinking beer and playing cards with Cousin Mel." Like playing cards with Cousin Mel. What?
I know, that was so a bizarre weird song, but it's catchy.
So now I pass this down to my children, and you would not believe they're huge Christmas music fans, and Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer is on the top 3. It's like they're always like, "Dad, play Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer." And my wife hates it. Astrid's like, "God damn it, man. They need to be listening to Gaitas." Gaitas are like Venezuelan holiday songs. So
speaking of Venezuelan, so what is Astrid's tradition over the years of celebrating New Year's?
So New Year's Eve for them is a big deal. Venezuelans love a good party. And if you've ever been to everybody loves a good party, right? But the Venezuelans just do it different. They do, like the culture, the party culture there is so ingrained with
celebrate life.
Everything. You had a good day at work, get the barbecue going, invite 30 friends over.
Yeah.
You had a bad day at work, get the barbecue going, invite 50 friends over. You get the rum out, you drink, you get taqueños. It's just one of those things that everything needs to be a party because they like to celebrate everything. And I really love that because us Irish folks, we don't celebrate anything. The most fun we have at a gathering is usually at a funeral or a wake, right? We like to celebrate death. He got out early. Good for him, that son of a bitch. It's not really ingrained in my family to do that. We didn't even really have birthday parties. So for Astrid, New Year's Eve is special. It needs to be a big party. She wants everyone to have a good time. And if you've ever been to a Venezuelan party, you know 2 things. There's going to be taqueños, number 1. And number 2, it's never going to start on fucking time. And there are waves of the party. Let's say the party starts at...
I love party waves.
Party waves are the best. Our wedding was a party wave, right?
Yes.
You've got the... pre-alcohol, you got the pre-party where everyone's out sunning themselves, getting a cocktail. Then you go and you do the thing, and then you have the cocktail hour, and then you sit down and you eat, and then you go out and you party, and then here comes and then you do the crazy hour, and then after that they're serving breakfast. Like it's a whole thing.
I know, I remember.
So if they say the party starts, so a party on New Year's Eve doesn't start till 10 p.m. Period, end of sentence. Like here in America, you get there at 8 o'clock, and by the time New Year's rolls around, you're ready to go home. For the Venezuelans, it starts at 10 o'clock, and then you celebrate at midnight, and then you celebrate again at 1 o'clock, and then you celebrate again at 2 o'clock.
I like that a lot.
Yes, and so this is just the way they do it. It's a big deal.
Do they have any kind of like ball dropping scenario, or is that just in the U.S.?
I think they have like democracy drop. I mean, like in the Venezuela.
Democracy drop.
No, they're not democracy drop. No more democracy for you. I don't think they have a ball drop necessarily, but like
it's just a big party.
Yeah, it's just a big party. That's what they do. But they do like the ball drop. At least my family does. They like to watch that thing. They eat grapes. So for every year they eat a grape. For every year of the millennial they'll eat a grape. So 2001 you eat one, and then so this year we're gonna have to eat 24 grapes. And I couldn't even imagine what it was in '99.
Well, I know that's what we were talking about. Christina and I said
you have grapes. You have a $1 bill. You must wear red underwear. It's a whole thing. Red underwear. If you don't wear red underwear, it's bad luck. If you don't wear red underwear on New Year's Eve, you have to have a $1 bill that you soak in champagne and then you keep it throughout the year.
Really?
So there's actually a $1 that's sitting around here.
I
from last
wondered
year.
what that $1 was.
It's $1 from last year.
Okay.
I soaked it in champagne, hoping the commercial break would be solvent by the end of this New Year's Eve. We'll see. We got 10 more days to go. We'll see how it goes. And that's what they do. There's just a couple of traditions that they like.
Well, that reminds me too of a tradition like right at New Year's. So this was passed down, and Christina, I want to ask you about this because I think it's some type of Scottish derivative of something that's done at midnight. Is that a dark-haired man is supposed to pass through the doorway with bread, salt, and coal.
Oh.
My grandmother always did this, and so then my dad did it with my mom, and now I have Jeff doing it with me, and I looked it up, and it is a thing.
It is?
So, yeah,
I have never heard of that. Okay. No, I mean, maybe it's a thing, but no.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I do remember this. When I was a kid, when I was like in my early 20s, I would pass through the door with cocaine, Bud Light, and $1 bills for the ladies. I mean, is it the same thing? It's a derivative of that. Yes, very similar. It's an Irish twist.
That's an Irish tradition.
I have a question about the $1 bill soaked in champagne.
Yes.
Does it count if it's sparkling wine, or does it have to be champagne from Champagne, France?
Well, I think you'd have to ask an actual Venezuelan about this, but I believe that the tradition is champagne. But I think you can get away with anything, like as long as it's in the same vein.
I'm wondering, I'm like, maybe the luck is in the champers.
Yes, I am making my own, I'm just making up my own rules right now. I say sparkling wine is okay, Christina. Go ahead and do it. There you go.
I brought some champagne for us today.
You brought some champagne. We're all dressed very lovely.
Yes, we are. Got my sparkles on.
Well, okay, Christina, we're going to pretend like you're dressed lovely.
Christina has a martini on her
shirt. I have a martini glass on my shirt.
That counts.
Ready to drink.
I know.
Counts.
Yeah, that's another thing the Venezuelans do. You must dress up on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
if you're not dressed up, you're not doing it right.
It wrong.
Yeah. For years, I took this stance for years before I met Astrid that New Year's Eve was really for amateurs, and I didn't like to go out and I didn't want to party. I was okay staying home and not doing anything.
I don't
Halloween
remember you
and
being this Debbie Downer-ish throughout our friendship.
If I went to a New Year's Eve party, it was under duress. I went under duress. Just know that. I didn't want to be there. I was there. If I looked like I was having a good time, I was pretending.
For years, I went to see music for New Year's.
Yeah, I did that for a couple of years too. I thought that was a good one.
That's what I'm doing this year.
What are you doing? Who are you going to see?
I'm going to a Hugel concert.
Oh,
Afrobeats, baby.
There you go.
Drop the Afrobeat.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Is it a New Year's Eve concert they're going to play through midnight?
Yeah. It starts at 10. So I'm pleased. We're having a little pregame.
Are there friends coming?
Yeah. We're going to do a little pregame, and then we're going to go.
Are there friends coming?
It's literally called
she's going on her own.
by myself.
I've been to concerts by myself.
Well, I know, but on New Year's.
Yeah. I mean, the only other person that I specifically invited cannot go. So I am kind of going alone. Not really. I'm going with my sister and her boyfriend and then some of our other friends.
Well, hopefully you'll meet
That'll be
people
a lot of
there.
fun.
Oh, no, it'll be great. It's literally called Make the Girls Dance.
Ooh,
It's called,
I love
we
it.
gotta make the girls dance.
Okay.
And I
I need to look
said,
up
count
this
me
guy.
in.
Well, if they had make the girls dance parties, then I might have not stayed home all those years. Well, here's the thing. I went to those fucking hotel parties for a couple years in a row.
God,
I went to the
the
clubs for a couple years in a row.
parties,
I worked in the restaurant business so many years on New Year's Eve that I got real sick of it real fucking quick because everyone becomes a raging asshole by 10:30 and then you have to deal with them for the next 4 hours, kick them out at 3 a.m. And it's just true. Like there's amateurish behavior that goes on because of how much
You were going to
alcohol.
the wrong party.
No, I was at the party
You were
serving
working the
people.
party.
Yes. So that's how I got that. So a little cocaine and some, Jägermeister made the medicine go down. I'm sorry. That's just the way it was. But then when I wasn't working in the restaurant business, hotel party, okay, I paid $1,000.
The hotel parties were the worst.
It was terrible. I mean, so I remember one year, it was me, it was the girl I was dating who would eventually become my ex-wife, eventually become my ex-wife.
wife, and then your
my
ex-wife.
wife, and then my ex-wife. And a couple friends. I paid $1,000 for 4 of us to go to this hotel party, big hotel in downtown Atlanta, do it every year, where there's like 12 rooms, 12 different types of parties. And what ended up happening is we stood in the lobby because it was the only fucking place we could get a drink and talk to each other at any reasonable decibel level. Every room was obnoxious, every one. And I became real turned off to that idea. And then a couple of years later, after I got a divorce, I went to a hotel party, paid a lot of money, same type of situation. 2 rooms were empty. 1 room was terrible, like just terrible human beings in there. And so we ended up staying out in the lobby bar.
You should have come to me with Widespread Panic.
I wish I had gone to a couple of Widespread Panic shows.
Mm-hmm.
At least there, you that dibbity dabs, finger dip, finger dip,
Finger dip,
finger dip, finger dip. Yeah. A Widespread Panic concert on New Year's. Kevin used to do that every year.
Oh, yeah, it was so
and
much
then I
fun.
wouldn't hear from him for 3 days.
Yes, because you need that time to recover.
recover.
I remember my parents calling me being like, "Are you alive?"
Yeah. Didn't they do like 25 years in a row at Phipps or Omni in the Phipps?
There was a consecutive amount of sellouts.
They got a banner. There's a
They do.
banner
There's a
up there.
banner.
Widespread Panic. And then they went to the Fox or something like
They
that.
did. Now they do the Fox.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah. One of the ones I missed, I wish I had gone to, I had an opportunity to, was the Fish Millennial concert.
Fish does a big one.
They do a big one. I don't know if are they doing it this year? Oh, you know what I just saw? I just saw that The Dead is coming back to the Sphere.
Yes, I saw that too.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not missing it this time. It was such a big
good,
fucking deal. I'm
good.
not
We're
missing it
planning
this
another
time.
trip out there, too.
$4,000 for a fucking package. It's insane. It's insane.
Let's talk off camera.
Okay, I'm gonna talk off camera. Get Jeff. Can Jeff give me tickets? Thank you, Jeff. I love you.
Yes.
I'm gonna send you red underwear, some grapes, and anytime you want your bell rung, call me and I'll ding dong. I'll come over with my gloves and some warm lube. I do promise. All right, we're dressed to the nines. 12 days of TCB is long behind us. Thank you, everyone who supported us and loved us and kept us going. I just can't thank you enough. Everyone said really nice things.
The response was great.
The response was great. So unfortunately, that probably means we have to do it again next year. Fuck you.
We're planning that differently next year.
Yes, next year we're going to do 1 a week for 12 weeks.
I was thinking 1. I think it still would be an option to do 1 each month. And then it's kind of like a time capsule too.
It could be.
You could look back then and we can review it.
It could just be it could be like one of those one of those stop motion photographies on how much weight I'm going to gain over 2025. We'll change the studio. We'll have different music. Everything will go different. And by the time we get to 12 days, we're going to rush again to get it done. I promise you. Let's do the 12 weeks leading up to. I think that sounds good. That's 3 months. That's 3 months.
Okay.
We divide it into 3 months.
I'm down with that.
We know it's coming. We'll give everybody a chance to get ready. And then we can talk to our audience and get their ideas about what they would like to hear. So let's do this. We're going to start a timer on the third segment of the show. We'll start a timer. We'll do a countdown. We'll celebrate together. We've got a little game to play when we come back. We're going to see how Christina and Krissy measure up their year when we return. We'll be back. All right, and we're back on this New Year's Eve celebration here on the commercial break. Hope you're doing well. Woo-hoo!
We need one of those little...
The little uvula? What do they call them? A uvula.
What?
What do they call them? A vulva?
Vuvuzela?
A vuvuzela.
But I thought Krissy was talking about just one of those like little curly things.
Curly things that pop out.
Yeah.
But also a vuvuzela. Uvula.
A vulvalela? Yes, we need a vulvalela right here, right now. Unfortunately, I'm married. All right. Hey, I want to say one quick thing. Today, as you're listening to this, will have been the 10-year anniversary of one of the greatest television shows in late night history going off air, The Craig Ferguson Show. Late Night with Craig Ferguson. You didn't like that show?
Well, I mean, I watched it sometimes. I don't know if it would be the greatest of all
good.
time.
It was so fucking... You'd have to watch a lot of it to get into it. It's one of those shows. It's an acquired taste like the commercial break, and I acquired the taste, and I loved it. He had the masturbating bear and the robot. It was just like, he was just so funny. He was sober, so he'd always, talk to the camera. He'd do these long soliloquies. He was really good at what he did. Now he has a podcast Not as good as the television show, I do have to say that.
Have the
but
visuals
I
with
can
it.
still listen to it every once in a while. All right, let's size up our year together. What do you think? Let's
do
size
it.
up 2024. Here we go. We're going to play love, hate, regret, desire. Love, hate, regret, desire. I want you to name a few things you loved about 2024, a few things you hated about 2024, some things that you regretted, and some things you desire moving forward in 2025. So, Krissy, let's start with you.
Oh,
Okay, give us 2 or 3 things that you loved about 2024.
let's see. You did spring this on us pretty quickly.
Well,
right
I
before
actually
the
gave
show.
you more notice than I've ever given you on content ideas. So there you go.
Let's say, you know what? I loved Taylor Swift's tour.
Okay.
And her love with Travis Kelce. I have to admit, it has been very, I think we talked about it at the beginning of the year. I said, I'm rooting for them.
Yes.
I hope it works. And everybody just gets so much joy, has gotten so much joy out of her tour. And I have to say, I love that.
Certainly consumed a fair amount of minutes here on the commercial break talking about Taylor Swift and Taylor and Travis. And I do have to say, I also am rooting for them because I think it's very difficult, probably. It's certainly going to be difficult now for Travis to find anybody else. He's now just as
Yeah.
famous as she is. It's hard to make that work under those streaming lights, and it seems, at least a year and some change in, that they are doing well. So good for Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
that was like a bright spot, I think, in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, I have a house full of Swifties. Not going to say a bad word. Taylor Swift is a badass boss bitch, and congratulations for all of her success. And Travis seems to be the right fit. I guess
Yeah.
is the right way to say it. Okay, Christina, let's go. Let's bounce to you. Something you loved in 2024.
Okay. Something I loved in 2024 was, and this is personal
Sure.
to me, but I ran a 30K for my 30th birthday.
What?
And yeah, I actually ended up running 20 miles because I did my map wrong. But
Were you going for the marathon and you did 30K?
I was going for my original plan. So I had knee surgery last year, and
Yes.
then my original plan was, I'm going to run 30 miles for my 30th birthday. And then I was like, actually, I've had a lot of health issues this year, and I don't think I've been able to train properly to run that distance. So I was like, let's do a 30K instead. And it's like 18.6 is a 30K. And then I did the map wrong and ended up running 20.
Well,
That
congratulations.
is a
That's
big
incredible.
It was a massive deal,
Yes.
and it was
Huge
like
accomplishment.
a year after the surgery, and it was really big and really emotional, and I'm super proud of myself.
Well,
so that was
for you.
that was
Best
a
to
big
you.
love.
Best
Wow.
to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I also am into running, and I don't do it as much as I did before the children, but I love running, and I got into distance running, and the most I've ever run was 13.5 miles. I felt really accomplished, and it only took me half a day to do that, so it took me so long
Good for
to
you
run
guys.
half a day to run
do not like
half
to
a
run.
marathon. Okay, all right. So something that I loved in 2024, it's very personal, and it's true. The commercial break survived what I think probably would have been the demise of most other podcasts. And listen, a lot of other podcasts had very similar drama. It's not, the podcast world got shaken up in 2023. And I'm not going to get into all the minutia, but then we kind of took 2 smacks in the face. And I will tell you what, we survived it and we came out the other end. Maybe a little worse for the wear, a little bit more
We
tired.
got a few calluses.
A few calluses, a little less cash in the bank, but we actually
We did
survived
do
and
it.
thrived. That has a lot to do with the new contract we signed, and of course, Christina and everybody else around us that's been very supportive
Yes.
and helpful. I'm really proud of the commercial break that it got to the end of 2024 solvent. Let's put it that way.
We always said we were the little the caboose
podcast that could. Yes, and still. By some people's measure, doing very well, I guess. By some people's measure. I'm not sure it's mine,
Tough
but
year for us, but
Yes.
we made it.
the first half
We
of the
did it.
year was we scraped our knees, that's for sure. But I'm proud of us. We did
I'm
it,
proud
and
too.
I am very grateful for that. Okay, another thing that you loved in 2024, then we're going to get on to hate, because that's the funner
Oh
one.
God. Well, no. I mean, personally, I was happy that finally the mountain monsters caught Bigfoot.
Hey, there you
Boom.
go. They did?
They did this year,
They did?
didn't they?
No, not that I saw.
They said they did.
Oh, they said, okay, they did capture a glimpse of something on video, but I think, determined that was not a monster, but a man with a hand.
I know.
All right.
There's no show if I catch him.
Yeah, season number 9. People are begging for season 9.
That's one of my desires.
Oh, that's one of your desires. It's season number 9 of Mountain Monsters. I'll tell you what, me too. Because contractually, we have another 222 episodes to go. And I need some content ideas. All right, another thing that you loved in 2024, Christina. That's a good one, actually.
I loved Below Deck this year.
Oh.
I got really into it. I watched all of Below Deck Med. I watched all of
it's addictive.
Regular Below Deck.
Yep.
It really got me through some of our tougher times.
Sailing.
Yeah,
Yep.
I haven't watched
Down
Sailing
Under.
Sailing yet. Yes, Down Under I've watched.
Also the one, the adventure one.
Oh, I haven't watched that one yet
there's-
either. I've
there's
kind of been
lots.
All right,
saving.
I'll be back in a
some.
few
Oh my God.
minutes. Everyone take a break, and we're going to let Christina. All right, Below Deck was good for Christina
it's
this
a good
year.
escape.
It is.
And it's beautiful scenery.
Yes,
Which
it's
is what
so
I was
beautiful.
telling Brian. It
brings
like
me
to
a lot
see
of
all the
peace.
places.
Yeah.
And you would really relate to the whole serving aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because if you've worked in the restaurant industry at all, you're just
Yes, you have to smile.
you just
and
you
be
relate
happy.
to them in this way.
Okay, Below Deck, putting that on the list of things that I probably will never watch, but it's on the list.
You should.
I will say that I loved in 2024, I did love my Instagram algorithm, which is on
Yes.
fucking fleek.
You love that.
And Christina hates when I say that, but I'm telling you right now, it is so good. It is so original. It is so dedicated to the weirdness of the world. It is so... I don't know. Instagram, I've fallen in love with Instagram this year because that algorithm is amazing. And the content that it serves me up is delicious in so many ways, horrible in other ways, and sexy in a lot of ways because I like those photographs. But I'm being honest. My algorithm on Instagram is something to behold. I think it's a national treasure, quite frankly. But I think a lot of other people think that too. I think Instagram will work the way you ask it to work.
It's tailored to
eventually,
your
yes.
specific likes.
AI. All right, let's move on to hate. What is something that you hated in 2024?
Something I hated in 2024. Let me look at this. Traffic on the way home after the Christmas episode.
Yes. It honestly almost killed me. It almost killed me off.
Yeah, that's that there's no getting around it. That is not the greatest part of working at the commercial break is driving where the actual studio is. I don't have to drive anywhere.
It's all good.
But just know this. I have a lot of empathy for where you're coming from. I understand that traffic is not fun. And if I was sitting in that traffic, I would blow
this
a
is very
fucking
fresh
gasket.
in my head. So
Where was it? Just yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It was terrible. That is one of the worst traffic days of the year.
It is.
the Wednesday before Christmas. Yeah.
Which also made me think that next year we should plan out our time that we're recording then.
Yeah.
We will.
Well, we will do it.
Well,
We'll get to it.
listen, because of medical issues and other things, we just couldn't get it
I know.
earlier than it needed to get. And we also then took a couple extra days off for shits and giggles. I'm not sure why. We'll get to it.
It's all good. It's all
I got a
good. It's
plan.
over now.
And every
It's in
day
the past.
the plan compacted just a little bit more.
It's in the past.
All
It's
right, something
good.
you hated in 2024.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. I hated not having air conditioning in my car.
Oh.
And I refuse to fix it. It's my own fault. But these Atlanta summers, they are not getting cooler.
No.
They're not getting
The world
cooler,
is
and
not
I'm
getting
getting
cooler.
sweatier, and I'm getting more irritable.
Yeah, you need to get that fixed.
I'm
That
not
is-
going to. My car is 22 years
You're
old.
like out of principle.
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
putting
how much-
any money that I don't
but-
have to in it. I get it.
Yeah.
Hold on. How much does it cost to fix the air conditioning?
It's like $1,000. It's like what my car's worth.
Okay, but you need air conditioning or a new car. You
Well-
can't go without air conditioning and here in Atlanta, you're going to die.
Gets me from point A to point B.
Okay,
and
fair
I
enough.
don't-
Wheels.
And yeah.
This is coming from a guy who had half
I
a car
was
and I
gonna
was
say,
driving it down the highway.
Christina was talking about it. I was like, look, we have all, I drove around with half the side of my car scraped for like 3 years.
Yes.
I was like, I refuse to get it fixed.
Okay.
What did you hate?
I'll tell you what I hated in 2024, and this is a bit on the serious side. I really hated the election season.
Yes.
I hated it.
Agreed.
It made me stressed. It made me anxious. People treated each other with disgust and disrespect, and it continues. And I got to be real frank about this. I don't give a shit who you voted for. It's your right to vote for whomever you want to. But if we don't start calming down in this country, we are going to come unglued. If it's not too late already, it will be very soon. And I just wish, I hope, I just pray and meditate, whatever. I pray that in 2025, there is some adults in the room, all of us being adults in the room, that can take it down a couple of degrees. Rev down, because we are going to rip each other apart, and it's not needed. It's not necessary. We can fight for what's right. We can fight for what we believe. We don't have to literally kill each other. That's all I got to say. And I hated that about 2024, and I'll never forget it. It's like a scar that I think we'll all wear for a very long time. And that's not just because the outcome wasn't my favorite. I can deal with that part. It's how everybody on both sides of the aisle treated each other running up to that election. It was just terrible. Okay, so now, things you regretted in 2024. What did you regret in 2024? This one, I'm hoping will be introspective.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
But Krissy says, no, it's gonna be Teresa Caputo.
I said that Jeff and I didn't cook naked enough.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that's a good one. That is a good one.
2025 goals.
That is a good one. And when you guys cook naked, please videotape it. I'll Instagram it for you since you don't like to do that. I'll put it up there, and I'll even put little blurbs. I'll blur it out for you.
Okay.
All right, something you regretted in 2024.
Okay, something I regretted. This is a joke. It was all the hours I listened to TCB. It was a joke. But my serious one is not being able to figure out my health stuff sooner. Yeah, if I think not following my gut, I guess. Well, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I went to my first doctor months ago saying, I think this is the problem. He did not believe me. He told me, he did not let me do the test for it. It was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And then
Health
come
problems
December, turns out it was the thing I thought it was at the start. So that sucks.
This is kind of funny, but at the same time not funny. But this is I think this is something that I learned in 2024. There is absolutely no one on this earth who is going to care for you like you are going to care for you. You have to be your own advocate at every turn, at every corner, at every question mark. And if someone in the medical field is not giving you the attention or the answers that you think you need, then you go somewhere else or you do something else until someone does. That's it. Period. End of sentence. And I will tell you what, it is the same thing with me. For maybe 20 years, I had a tumor wreaking havoc on the chemicals in my body, and I had no idea. And for at least 7 or 8 years, someone did have an idea and chose not to say anything. Whether that was a mistake, I'm sure it was an honest mistake. I don't think they were trying to kill me, but they didn't say anything. And even when I noticed, I thought, oh, well, if the doctor's not saying anything, then I shouldn't say anything. So that's a good one. I'll tell you what I regretted this year. I regret that Astrid and I did not get more time as a couple, and I hope that changes in 2025.
Yes.
So many children, so many things, so much chaos, so much drama with the commercial break, and we just had a lot going on in 2025. And I think we got a total of 10 hours alone together.
Yeah.
That wasn't after the kids went to bed. And in 2025, babe, that's going to change. 11 hours coming your way in 2025. I promise you, because I love you.
You're upping the ante.
I am upping the ante. All right. Okay. So let's do this. I know it's a little bit early. Let's flip to a break. And then after we flip to the break, we're going to start a clock and we're going to talk about what we want moving forward in 2025. The desires, Krissy, the desire. My desire to see you and Jeff naked more in 2025. That's what. That's one of them. We'll talk about a couple of this.
Fonda's there, filming. So.
Oh, man. Henry Fonda hasn't made an appearance on this show in 3 years.
He's been away.
Maybe that's what I regret. No, that Henry Fonda wasn't here enough in season number 5. You know what I regret? 3,000 episodes of the commercial break. I regret I didn't say no. All right, let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll all count down to the new year together. All right, for those of you at home that want to do this with us, feel free to start your 10-minute timer. I'll give you like 15 seconds to get your clock out and start your 10-minute timer, or to start this episode when 10 minutes on that, whatever you're watching, however you do it, starts. So I'll give you a couple of seconds. We've got our champagne here.
We do.
We're dressed very nicely. We're talking about all the things we
got
love,
our red
hated.
underwear on.
I don't have my red underwear on, but I don't have any underwear on. So there you go. I'm free balling it.
Spicy.
Yes, I'm hoping that Jeff comes in and jingles my jangles. I was listening to one of the episodes we did. And we were talking about ringing the bell, and I'm like, Bryan.
Oh, I came up.
No
and told
wonder
Jeff.
the parents hate you at the school. No wonder.
I told Jeff that it got a lot of miles.
It did get a lot of miles. It got 15 minutes
was
of
happy to help.
conversation. Yes, and then I got to go pick my kid up from school later. I could just see, all those cars parked in the parking lot. I gotta imagine at least 2 of them are listening to the most recent episode of the commercial break, listening to me talk about a finger in my anus.
Yeah, your secret is not secret anymore. Did the teacher come out and go, I know.
Yes, a teacher came out and said, I know, at one of the schools. And then at the other school, they printed our email addresses, which is just... I don't even put my work email address on a doctor's office. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, no, give them that personal Gmail.
That's right.
Can't let that cat out of the box. Because we all do it, right? We all get an email from somebody and we go, let me check out that website and see what's going on.
What is that?
Yeah, what does that guy do? TCB Podcast? What is that? Let me see that. Oh. Well, I guess they're letting anybody in the school now. I guess there's no more checks and balances at this school. All right, so let's start that 10-minute timer now. Well,
where is that?
Where is that 10-minute timer? What happened? Timer. Hold on. Stop. Don't start your 10-minute timer yet.
I can put a timestamp in the episode for when everyone.
Yeah, but I want to do it so that we need it so that we can.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, don't stress about it. People will know when to.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Go watch this on YouTube. Yeah.
11:49.
Here, I'll start the timer.
I got it. 10-minute timer.
Okay.
Starts right
now.
All right, here we go. The next episode of the commercial break starts now. All right, things we want to accomplish in 2025. The things that we accomplish or desire. Go, Krissy.
Well, I think I said it earlier, the Mountain Monsters. I mean, more episodes.
More episodes, season number 9.
And also, I'd like to see a little bit more of a shakeup in the monsters.
Yeah, that's true. They keep on going after the same 4 monsters all the time.
I want a good witch, a
ghost,
a ghoul,
a goblin, a Kabul goblin. What is that?
The
Kabul ghoul? The ghoul of Kabul? Yes, that's what I want to see too. I want to see that guy kneeling with the fire. I agree with you. But to be fair to mountain monsters, they do branch out. There's the little Indian girl that's walking through the cornfield. I mean, they have a lot of stuff. There's people leaving them messages. There's pig blood on the wall. They found a couple of dead animals. I mean, they try and switch it up, but let's be real about it. After 9 seasons and 130 episodes of the commercial break, we were having trouble with content ideas. Yeah, the 5 huckleberries later. They do have at least 2 huckleberries. I swear they do. Because if you look at the early huckleberry and the most recent huckleberry, they just don't look alike. I'm sorry. I'm not convinced at all. Mm-hmm. All right, Christina, desire in 2025.
I want my cats to get along.
Oh,
yes. She got a new kitten.
I got a new kitten recently, and my OG cat, the big boss of the house, she is not very happy right now, and she's been very, very stressed out yesterday, and it made me so sad.
Okay,
I just want them
they'll get along
they
eventually.
Will. I said that.
Eventually they'll come together.
So nervous. Yeah. My emotions are her emotions. We are one woman.
All right.
know. She's been with you for a long time, so.
I desire in 2025 a couple things. First of all, a lot more massages. I didn't get enough massages in 2024. I want massages, not the Boscolo kind. I just want a regular nice massage every once in a while, maybe once every other month. I'd like that. Number 2, I want to see the commercial break raised to new heights. And by that,
That was
I
on
mean
my list.
in the
Make
positive
money.
and not in the
Yeah.
negative.
That was on my
It was
list.
on
too.
mine too.
We can all agree.
And number 3, and most importantly, and only you can help us do this, I want to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I have a mild goal here, guys. A mild goal. And I realize we've been terrible about social media, but for the last couple of weeks, you'll have to admit things have been much better. So if you
Yes.
could, please follow us on Instagram and YouTube. TikTok, I really don't care about because, I care about TikTok, but I'm not sure TikTok's going to be around. I got to be real honest. I think they may move forward with that ban. And I think we may not have TikTok because I think they want to kind of step on China's neck a little bit. So I hope all of
Astrid's
that
banned from TikTok.
Astrid's banned from TikTok.
What?
She's banned from TikTok, and we have no idea why. And we know people who work at TikTok, and we have no idea how to get her back on TikTok. She never made one post, never. And they kicked her out, and now they won't let her back on. And no one knows why. No one can answer the question.
Maybe she was cyberbullying you. And you
Yeah,
just didn't know. You thought you had a
think she was
troll, but it was
cyber-stalking
Astrid.
me. Yeah, she was logging into my account, checking out all the girls in bikinis that I have. Yeah,
She's like, I'm banned.
Yeah, TikTok's not as bad. My TikTok is not as
Brian,
bad as
we
my
can't
Instagram.
get on it. I'm banned.
Yeah, you're banned, right? Exactly. You didn't even know what TikTok was until July. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, listen, we do have to say it's been a very eventful year here at the Commercial Break. From Teresa Caputo to the Mountain Monsters, all the content, the time off, the live shows that didn't end up happening, that may end up happening in the future, the switch of the studio, Christina in here with us. It has been a wild and wacky year for the Commercial Break. And I do have to say, we are extraordinarily grateful for everyone that has listened to the Commercial Break. Because by listening to the Commercial Break, believe it or not, you actually make us a little bit of money. And that helps us create that content over and over and over again. We do 4 episodes a week. It's not the world's hardest job. It's not even a hard job. But it does take a lot of time, and we put a lot of care and effort into doing it, despite what it may sound like. We actually try. But the best part of TCB, the best thing, the thing that I will never regret, is all the wonderful people that listen to us and write in and say, like, this job can be lonely. You talk into a microphone, you don't hear anything back except for the people in the room. You don't hear anything back. And so the only feedback that you ever really get is either yourself or the other 2 people that now sit in the room. And so it's not like comedy or doing a concert where, you can see in people's faces
Applause,
what's
laughter,
going on.
all that.
And sometimes, like when you're in July and you're on your 700th episode and you don't know what you're going to talk about and you hope it's funny and you're just trying to, be funny. It can be lonely. Even when you have somebody that you're doing the show with, it can be a little lonely because you have no idea. But what keeps me going every time is when I pick up the phone, the TCB phone, or when I look at our reviews or our comments and I see that people say something nice. And some of the best messages we've got is, my life is not really great right now, but I can count on the Commercial Break for a laugh, and that has kept me going.
You guys are a worse train wreck.
Yes, yes. Just like your reality shows, you guys are. I'm fetish watching you for your shitty content. I'm saying, well, my life's pretty bad. I lost my job. My car don't work. My wife left me. But look at Bryan and Krissy. They still think they're going to make this work. They're still holding out hope. So can I. Exactly. They think they have a chance. I might as well too. Why not? Hey, listen, anything's possible, kid. If the Commercial Break after 5 seasons has shown everybody one thing, it's that blind faith will either lead you off a cliff or up the mountain. One of the 2.
That's right.
We haven't really figured it out yet, but I have a feeling. As I'm watching, I was telling the girls before we came on that I'm watching a lot, and I mean a lot, of Everest porn right now. Mount Everest porn. People,
is porn the right word?
Yes, it is,
Okay.
because it's just me watching for disaster to happen. I'm just like, At any moment, disaster could happen. And some people die. A lot of people die actually trying to go up that fucking mountain. And I think the reason why I like it is because it's something I will never do.
Right.
I would never want to be up that high.
Me?
I don't want to be on a ladder, let alone Mount
Oh,
Everest.
I could be flown in up to the top. I'd like
no,
that.
you can't.
I don't want
you
the
can't
track.
even fly up to the top.
I don't want the track.
No, and apparently it's a very easy mountain to climb, technically, but it's, without the, not having any oxygen really
Yeah.
does a number on the body, apparently. But I've been watching it, and I'm like, you know what? Blind faith. Blind faith will either get you killed
Perseverance.
or it will get you your name in the record book. One of the two. All right, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left before the New Year's,
All right,
girl.
should I pop the champagne?
Well, I guess but now's a better time than any. Don't
Yep.
hit me with that fucking cork.
I'm
I almost lost an eye
professional
once.
champagne
Oh, you are?
popper.
You're a professional champagne popper?
I've had lots of experience.
Well, I believe that. That I believe. I'll take your word at face value. Do you and Jeff drink a lot of champagne?
No.
No.
But on occasion.
Yeah. On New Year's Eve, I always end up with a fucking headache because of the champagne, and that drives me crazy.
Some good stuff. Woo!
Oh,
I love that sound.
Hey, what is that? Veuve Clos?
No, it's not Veuve. I didn't spring for that. We're not making that Veuve money.
I thought
That's right.
we're not even making that money. What is that? Saint Hilaire.
Saint Hilaire.
Gotta watch out, guys. Sir, your Saint Hilaire is here.
Hey, would you like to do the tasting with your testes?
Yes, I'd like to taste my testes, please. Thank you. Just a dash there. I don't want to get my balls too wet. Oh, it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Lovely. This is a fine year. What is that, 2023?
Your balls are straight on.
Yes, a wonderful year for Saint Hilaire champagne. Saint Hilaire. I love how Krissy pours half a bottle. Watch it. Watch your ears. Yeah.
I got you.
Oh,
Here,
look at this. All right, here we are with a glass of champagne. And we should make a toast.
We should.
We should make a toast. I don't know what toast to make, but I'm trying to think of one. But I'll make it up as we go. Here's to those that aren't here. Here's to those that are near and dear. And here's to those who we're going to cheer.
All right.
There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers,
I love you
everybody.
guys.
47 minutes, 45 seconds on the clock now. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a fond new year. I bid adieu to 2024, you shitty fucking year.
Yes.
That's right.
Go in the trash. Never come back. We'll see you in 2028. We'll do it again then, if democracy's still around.
Yeah,
if
we'll see.
democracy's still a thing, we'll be in 2028. Sorry, year. I feel it. I can feel it. All right. 20 seconds left here on the clock. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Oh, gosh. Cheers,
There
cheers.
you go.
I forgot I was supposed to do something
Nah,
here.
you're all right. It's one of those years.
It's coming. It's
Oh,
coming.
look,
It's
it
coming.
says- look, it says done.
Old acquaintance
There you go.
we forgot and never brought to mind.
Cheers, my friend. Till next year. Till next year.
We forgot.
Cheers to you, listeners.
I want to cheers you at home. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are. I hope your new year brings you luck and love and wealth and health. And I also hope you listen to the commercial break because I want those things also. I want those things. I have desires too, guys. Tell a friend, tell
More
a family
massages.
member. Yeah, more massages and more listeners. Those two things.
We got a vision board over here.
Yeah, I really do want
We should
more
do a
massages.
vision board for the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Wait, that's so cute. Let's make a group vision board.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
like
God!
it.
Oh
love it.
God!
I love it.
Please, all right. I'm trying to. We have a man. Dollar Shave Club is one of our sponsors. I'm trying to keep any of the men around listening. Although I think that might be a lost cause at this point.
Yeah.
If our Spotify is any indication, I think that might be a lost cause at this point. Well, bye 2024.
Women rule the world.
Hola
anyway.
2025. My son doesn't like the fact that it's turning 2025 because he doesn't want to have to learn how to write a new year. And I said, hey, listen, Get used to it, kid. It happens all the time. All right, well, listen, I don't know how much more we can do today, but we will be back tomorrow to nurse your hangover with you.
Yes.
A brand new episode of The Commercial Break on New Year's Day. What else could you ask for? Wow, and that is in the books.
Woo!
I think 226 episodes of The Commercial Break.
This year?
This year.
Oh, my God.
In December, we will have broadcast
We did
24 of the 31 days of the month. There are 24
Wow.
episodes. That's 50%
Wow.
more Commercial Break in December than any other month of the year. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to you on all the good tidings and all the good cheer. Well, you know, some things remain the same, like our website, tcbpodcast.com. Nothing changed in the year. There you go. tcbpodcast.com is where you get all the information about the show, the audio, the video, right there from one location. And every episode, including this one, is available on that website, audio and video. You can also get your free TCB swag. You want a sticker? You want a couple stickers? I think we might actually have some t-shirts somewhere. If you want something, write in. Go to the Contact Us button, drop down menu, I want my free sticker. Drop us a message with your physical address. Let us know what you want and what you need. And who knows, Astrid may bless you in the new year with some good TCB swag. Memphis stickers.
Memphis stickers.
From
I can get
3
more
years
of those.
ago. Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean Memphis stickers, the Commercial Break.
Oh, right.
Or a Memphis sticker.
Yeah.
If we start giving away Memphis stickers, people are definitely going to write in. 212-433-3TCB. That's 212-433-3822. Questions, comments, concerns, content ideas. Tell us how your holidays were. We'd love to hear your crazy stories, your interesting anecdotes. What'd you get for Christmas? What'd you not get for Christmas? How shitty are your children? How shitty is your uncle? How sexy is your cousin? I want to know all about it.
Oh, my God, the sex cousins.
The sex
I forgot
cousins.
about
Yes. Everyone has a sexy cousin. You know you do, and I want to hear about it. You know you do. It's okay. You don't have to fuck them. You can still desire them. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters, Cousins is okay. It's one step removed. 212-433-3822. Add the Commercial Break on Instagram. TCB Podcast on the aforementioned, as long as it sticks around. TikTok, that's TCB Podcast. And YouTube.com/The Commercial Break. Thanks, Dr. Phil. All the episodes available the same day on Spotify a few days later. Okay, Krissy, that's all I can do this year.
I think so.
I'll tell you that I love you.
And I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe, and you too, Christina. Until next time, we all say, we do say, and we must say
Goodbye.